All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Finance Junkies. Carlos is going to join us in a bit. I was just telling Chris, it's kind of insane that, in 6 months, the market's recovered a lot of what it's lost in the previous year. And I guess that is what it means to be an investor and see the opportunity, which is that in a day or two, right, things can just change. Everything can change. And so if you're well positioned, you're well prepared, which takes years of being able to get to that point. There are people who are up hundreds of percent, thousands of percents this year. If you add up all, it's crazy. And it's just because they got in at some of the right moments. Carlos, what's up?
Oh, what's up, man? What's funny is I was here like 10 minutes ago. I just didn't think you were letting me in. And then I saw it go live. I was like, oh, I actually got to enter the studio.
Yeah, we're live now. So today was a good day, right? Carlos, you liked your portfolio today? Things were all right?
I didn't even really check today. Today was a bit of a crazy day, like a bunch of like kind of good news like all around. So no, I have not checked the portfolio. I'm going to. Let's do a live one now. Let's see. Everybody's gone through this where you go, CPI data was good. Let me go check and see.
I saw it this morning. I was like, oh, today's gonna be a good day.
It was nice. Yeah, it was nice.
But you know what? To be frank, I hate days like
I don't want to be frank. I'm Carlos. Okay, stop trying to misgender me.
This was as bad as the Middle East joke, which, by the way, I clipped. I haven't posted on Twitter yet, but it's going up tonight. And
my Middle East joke was
everyone's going to see the joke. It's going to be great.
My joke was bomb. Who's funnier in the chat? Who's funnier, me or Amit? Come on,
chat.
Come on, people.
Come on, chat. Come on, chat.
Come on, chat.
You just saw the Pouncer stream. I dropped like 17 jokes. Come on, chat. We'll see what we get. All right, Chris, go ahead.
Nah, just when days like this come, I know it's time to celebrate a little bit because it's like, yay, the news is good, but. Part of me being a prudent investor these days, anytime I see like a lot of good creep up, part of me, like my spidey sense goes off a little bit and be like, what am I not seeing here? Like I don't mind the run-ups. I mean, that's what happens. You have a thesis and then it plays out. But then when you see the thesis play out too good, it makes you think like, where's the fucking rug pull? That's the thing that worries me a little bit. And so I'm scouring the market right now to see where there are risks that may or may not have been brought up because of so much euphoria. Like you can see that we've been in a pretty overbought market in terms of like a lot of the big tech companies that are out there. So it's like the PEs have gone back to like double digit highs over what you typically see. Like literally PEs are in like the 30s and 40s with a looming recession. So it kind of worries me a little bit, but this market has pretty much been led by big tech. And so small and medium cap has not recovered as much. So
that's why you think a lot of small and medium cap is going up now, right?
Well, there could be opportunities there, whereas there may be a lot less opportunity in big tech. But then again, big tech is also a lot more profitable, a lot more resilient. They have room to cut. Smaller guys are a lot more impacted by changes to like the interest rates and everything else. So for me, I'm trying to position my portfolio going into next year in probably some small and mid-sized companies that are performing well. So they're like generating cash flow. They're selling under book, right? They're priced under book. Their PEs are in the single digits. They have a operational model that is very necessary for people that you can't just like people can't just stop using it. So these are the kinds of things I'm trying to look out for right now. And yeah,
all right, Chris, we'll get back to this discussion because we definitely got to talk about small and mid caps. Let me pull up the title of the stream. So this is a tweet that Carlos shared to me today. Okay. CPI came in much cooler, not cooler than expected because everyone expected to be cool, but it was cool. It wasn't as cool as me, but it was pretty cool. Now, Margot Robbie, this was a tweet put up by somebody that got a lot of engagement, 200,000 views.
Yeah.
He said, why are people on Twitter arguing if this girl is hot or not? Which apparently is a debate happening because she just came out in a movie called Barbie. I bet 90% of the dorks saying she is not hot have never slept with a girl as hot as her. So, Carlos, what is your take on Margot Robbie, and do you think she's hotter than the CPI data we got today?
Oh, she's pretty hot, dude. She's pretty hot. I don't know what's happening. I think I texted you. And I was like, what is happening in the world where Margot Robbie being hot is in question right now? Like, this is up for debate. What is wrong with people? Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah,
forget about the accent and forget about whatever. Like, Yeah,
Chris looks like he's about to have a contrarian take and be like, "Man, she's not all
bro,
bad." I feel like Chris is about to say it.
Oh,
Okay.
he's like, I have eyes, man. You kidding me? Like,
bro, the ugly girls that I have fapped off to, just no, bro. She's good.
right?
Like
he's
she's
like,
good.
he's
You know, my what's the word? Myself.
your bar is pretty low.
My bar, dude. There are definitely some faps that like I could not like resist. I was like, I need to fucking clear this history because if anyone finds out, this is gonna fucking end my
It's like
marriage.
you feel
You
a
know.
little ashamed,
So I mean,
a little
so this is
ashamed
like,
afterwards.
dude, if you haven't watched a porno that you've been ashamed of afterward, you haven't watched any good pornos. You know.
That's probably true.
Trust me, good porn isn't like necessarily just like the hottest girl equals great porn. Like you know, there are girls who know how to like, and women who know how to do things that
We are
not
not even 6 minutes in. This conversation went right into the fucking toilet.
for the guys, bro.
Right
You
into the
started it.
guys.
Hey, I'm not the one that fucking put Margot Robbie on the cover, man. I'm just saying, in terms of like hotness, yeah, Margot Robbie's like, I hate to say this, but I'm not a big fan when the girl is too hot either. It's like, man, this is kind of unattainable. Let me go find a girl that's like more on my level so I can fap off to. So at least like in my dream,
He's like, right, yeah,
it's like
Rihanna.
Yo, maybe
it's
that's
like,
the reason,
man.
Carlos, that the controversy happened on Twitter is that she's so hot that people were like, she's unattractive because she's so unattainable. Do you think that's
No. I think that's hate. I mean, if you think about what people are considering hot, the bar is pretty low now. Basically, you can't say anybody's unattractive now because you're shaming somebody in some way.
It's
So,
like, bro, this whole
I think we got a little too far. I think in terms of the sexual marketplace needs a correction. I think we're overvalued, and I think we.
What
really
was your
need to
take
start-
on that article by NBC that said if you work out, you're a Nazi, essentially?
Oh yeah. Chris shared that one. It's what did it say?
Was
Did it say?
insane.
Yeah, I mean, basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it seem like if you care about your body, because like guys like Joe Rogan and I guess like Andrew Tate work out, they're trying to say if you work out, you're automatically lining up with a certain political ideology. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like now we're supposed to be flabby and out of shape and like, I
How
don't get it.
insane is that, bro? If you work out, because these guys who work out that have a podcast that reaches
Yeah.
millions of people and they are quote unquote right wing.
Yeah.
Now, if you work out or if you're into that lifestyle, which is essentially the metaphor they were trying to come up with, you're right wing. I mean, it was insane, bro. It was insane.
Yeah, I mean, but this goes back to the idea of like of weak men. I think weak men are actually destroying everything. You know, I don't know, and I feel like it's an attack it's an attack on those people because when you have strong men, say between 18 and 35, they're the ones that push back. They're the ones that revolt. They're the ones that hold shit down. If you can get rid of those people, who's left to resist anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right now. Like, can you believe that? Look, we've been standing in the same place, and we're now all right. Like, because we're posting selfies of going to the gym. We're like, Lucy Picker is the leader of this,
bro. Lucy Picker. First of all, so Lucy Picker on Twitter. I didn't know he was shredded. Honestly, a name like Lucy Picker sounds like a guy eating Cheetos in his basement. To be honest, like it sounds like some random weird. He texted a 6-pack, and he's just like jacked. He's like, I love the finance junkies. I'm like, damn, that's crazy,
bro. Fuddbucker's like that too. Fuddbucker's been working his ass off, man.
Oh yeah, he's like quadruple digits.
Dude's a firefighter, so I'm sure he's jacked. He got nothing to do but just fucking work out and save babies and get cats out of trees and shit. So
right, but apparently it gets you ripped.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back into stocks. Chris.
No. Before we go into stocks, we have to watch one thing real quick. I need you guys' opinion. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh god.
This is what modern. I don't want to call them modern feminists, but modern women have basically been like every time I think of like, okay, yeah, women are kind of like bringing themselves up to another game. I see this happen, and it's just like I need someone else's opinion, what they think.
Ice cream so good. Thank you, Lopez. Slay, huh? Ice cream so good. Ice cream so good. Yes. Ooh, yes. Take you, Blake. Take you, Jace. Gang. Take you, Josh. Take you, I don't know. Take you, Tay. Take you.
What is she doing? What?
So let me put this in context. So This is why TikTok needs to be banned ASAP. Okay.
By the way, you know how we don't talk about it being banned? They just kind of slid
Yeah.
under the rug. It's like not happening.
This is TikTok Live. Okay. And so apparently there is a group of people that get on TikTok Live and they debase themselves for likes and for like those like stickers and stuff.
It's money.
So
it's like coins.
It's money. It's definitely money.
Yeah.
But it's like so if you look at this, she's let me put this in context. She is popping popcorn with a fucking hair straightener, which for some reason offended me more than the rest of the stuff that she was doing. I was just like, what the fuck is she doing? Popping one kernel at a time?
Yeah.
Like the fuck, you know? And I was disappointed. I was like, God damn it, this is horrible. You know, I fapped off a little bit. And I came back and I was like, now I've got some fucking like post-nut clarity. Let me watch this again and see if this is where the society should be going. And I was angry. I was getting upset because I'm like, I've gone to school. I've worked my ass off. She's got 1 million followers on TikTok. She probably makes way more money than I do.
Probably made 10 grand.
Wait, so what is
right?
she's like acting like a dog or something for the money? What exactly?
I can give it some sort of context. This is a play. I don't know if you guys know. This is a play off of the Japanese Chinese style, like game shows. I don't know if you've seen that subset of TikTok.
I have seen
and
some of those.
Instagrams,
Yeah.
Or even YouTube channels. There's channels that are dedicated to just watching girls eat. I don't know if you've seen this. Like literally the girl just sits down and eats. And it's almost like a game show. They like gamify it. And what she's doing,
that's what they call it. Mukbang.
is that what it is? Okay. So what
yeah.
she's doing is sort of a play on that. So every time, so the audience is basically telling her what to do by what they're writing and what they're typing. They're popping things up on the screen and she's reacting to what it is as if it's a game show, as if she's playing along with it. She's basically trying to win the game.
Chris,
And
can you
so
keep it playing real quick?
And that's how she's making money.
Huh? Say that again?
Maybe, just finish off the last 8 seconds of it.
Okay.
I am. Ooh, yes, gang, gang. Yes, gang, gang. Yes. Right.
Now,
ice cream so good.
so I thought this was disappointing. I was
I'm
like,
not gonna lie,
this
she's
is a-
cute though. I'm not gonna lie, she's kind of cute.
I was like, maybe this is a one-off. Maybe
she's
this is like the
gorgeous,
only
but-
person, right? And then one more thing. I'm gonna share it one more time. And then my boy Riley posed this.
Oh my goodness.
And,
Ice cream.
and then I was like, that's it. I'm done. I don't even know why I want to live
You
anymore.
reach the end of the internet. Yeah, that's it.
I pretty
That's the
much.
That's the off ramp.
Yum! Ice cream, brain freeze.
Why do they all say
Brain
ice cream?
freeze.
Why do they all like?
No spicy. Oh, cute.
It's like an anime thing. Like she's basically trying to pretend like she's
Brain freeze.
programmable and she's running. She's running
right.
through like a certain series of,
I'm
of
hungry.
limited responses, and I guess they're
Spicy.
going on to do.
First of all, sorry, I was removing the other thing. First of all, Johnny, I hate you. He says, "Is she a startup founder?" Amid sending her Twitter message, I fucking hate Johnny so much right now. But do you disrespect the hustle, or you because I don't disrespect what they're doing. If they're making money, then that's great. What is your issue with this exactly? Because if they're making money, they're making fucking money, right? People are willing to pay.
We should never have given women the right to vote.
Oh
This is
my
what happened. This is the end result. I'm just sorry. This is the end result.
Oh, he's
You
all
know,
pearl. He's all.
I'm trying to be here intellectual. I'm trying to be an intellectual debate, like whether the economy is CPI, is gonna like be good for the rest of us, like what's going on, and I'm being outdone by this. Like, what the fuck is going on with the world,
bro? So there's another website. I'm sure people have heard of it before. I honestly have not used this website. I've gone on it once to see what it looks like, but I don't use it because it's not my thing. It's called Chatterbait, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. Where there's women and men.
Bro,
live.
we know where you.
No, I actually don't use it. No, I don't use it. I'm not into that type of stuff. But Tristan
That's
told me about
exactly
it.
what someone who does use it.
I
would
actually
say.
don't, bro. I don't watch
What are you
that shit live.
talking
It's not
about?
attractive to me. But the point is, I went on their website once, and I'm like, there was like 1 million people live at once, and then I saw their traffic. It's like 50 million hits a month. And what is so different from Chatterbait versus what you just showed, Chris? It's just
I don't know, man. I'm just saying society is pretty much done, bro. I mean, Was this on anyone's bucket list when people were talking about like 1995, like, oh, the internet's gonna come and take everyone's job, and then someone's like, no, it's not. I'm
Or
gonna
even
go
like
on and
potential use
fucking
cases, right?
yeah.
Like think of all the chicks who need to act like fish and be digitally filtered. Like, what about them? What about them? They need an
I don't
outlet.
know, dude.
I
I'm just
respect
saying.
it.
Their talent.
They're making
and-
money. It's a free market.
You see this?
know?
You see this, Carlos? You see this? The young generation has
respect it.
absolutely no they have no like decency, bro.
TikTok
And
has
as long as it makes
democratized
money,
their opportunity to make money.
as
If-
long
yeah,
as
if
it
you can
makes
get paid
money,
for 3 hours a day, if she gets to act like a hyena and make $10,000, fuck, bro.
I think that's a real
that's what's
problem.
that's the
think
problem with
that's a-
society,
I
dude.
think that's a real problem. I think it's a
You
real
have
problem.
you have real women who are like researchers, fucking getting cancer drugs out there, and they will never get the notoriety as
That's
this
true.
dumbass who's
Bring up-
fucking
bring up-
popping
bring up-
popcorn with a hair straightener.
Bring up the Junkies comment, Junkies comment. That is what started this. That
Kim
is what-
Kardashian was a
that
porn
is
star,
what-
became the
yeah.
most. But see,
That
again,
is
I have a lot of respect for Kim because she took a porn tape and turned it into a multi-billion dollar.
Okay, you know what? Then I have to ask you what you don't have
Yeah.
respect for. Where the fuck is your bar? When do you
Yeah.
not respect someone?
I am a capitalist. If you can make money on
Oh
TikTok
my
by acting
God.
like a
well,
fool,
that's the problem. There's a whole
no, 'cause,
generation.
bro,
of people
what
like
are we
Amita,
doing
like,
right
if
now
you're
to make
making
money?
What about like
You're-
drug dealing? What about drug dealing?
Okay, I'm just saying in the context of
Like
content.
marijuana. You know what I
Content
mean?
is subjective. If we're getting paid to talk about stocks, and maybe that's more intellectual than whatever she's doing, it's still the same thing. It's just a different audience at the end of the day.
Well, but doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that's what it is to me.
What do you have to say about the fact that there is an audience for that?
That's just the state of the world. In
Do you know what I'm saying?
2023. Like,
I
That
feel
is
like we're
it's just degeneration. Like on the way down to the. This is like circling the drain.
no, it is.
You know what
It
I
is.
mean?
I'm not saying it's not. It is. It is.
There were key indicators before the Roman Republic fell. I'm pretty sure this is something that was happening. I mean, if you think the
whatever the
Romans,
equivalent was, right?
whatever the equivalent was back in the day, this was it. You know, so I'm just saying we could be heading like we should buy some puts on America. That's all I'm saying right now.
It is crazy though, because you don't see that shit on Instagram. You see that shit on this Chinese app, TikTok, right?
Yeah, because
That's
it's
what
fucking
happened.
poisoning us,
Yeah, but
dude, and they're
that's where
poisoning
a lot
the
of this
youth.
stuff exists. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you don't think that they're pushing that? Like you can create engagement.
100% they're pushing that shit, bro. 100%.
So they're pushing that, and you gamify it. Now you make it a thing, and you just have people spending hours. Look, every minute that they're spending watching this chick say whatever the hell she was saying, ice cream.
Ice cream! Brain freeze.
She's not researching shit. She's not looking up stocks. She's not, you know what I mean? She's not looking at politics. She's not learning anything. No, they're just,
You know TikTok in China, how they have the STEM feed? So they have following, for you, and STEM. They added that to my TikTok
what,
a couple
what
of
is that? What is that?
STEM is science, technology, engineering, math. So it's a feed in China just for like really high value content, like shit
Mhm.
that they want their kids to grow up with. They
Mhm.
added that to American TikTok, I think 3 weeks ago. I updated TikTok the other day. It's gone because I think they realized no one gave a
Nobody
fuck.
wants it, or
No one
maybe
wants
people
that
were
shit.
actually clicking on it. They're like, oh
And
shit.
then
we get it.
reducing their advertising. Yeah, and they're like,
Let
fuck
me ask you
shit.
this though: in China, do they still, or was it Japan, where the internet shuts off, like social media shuts off after a certain time? Like,
I think
remember
that's
they were like,
video games.
you only
That's
have an
video games.
hour or something like. I had read that was the case. And if not, just even a question for the chat: how would you guys feel if social media shut down at like say 8 or 10 p.m. like local time? How would you guys feel about
I
that? Do you
think
think that would be a
that's
net positive? Would you be
It's
okay?
too
with that?
communist for me, but yeah, that's what they do.
But I mean, the stores close. Like if the bars close. Amit, even the bar closes at 1 in LA.
Yeah, but I can drink alcohol at 10 p.m. in my house if I want. You know?
Okay, but you could still watch a movie. You could still watch content. You could watch Netflix. I'm just saying, social media. The idea of being
No, I would
on
never
social
agree with
media 24 hours a day.
a government banning me from using whatever website I want. That's
I'm trying to find the buoy point. I'm trying to find what I have to do to make you be like, that's enough. That's gone too far. Like stalking a chick on Threads.
Listen, all I know is
First, I'm
all
not
I know-
stalking her. Relax. There's one message. that she
all I
hasn't
know
responded
is
to.
my goals in life have recently changed. I am more likely now to just basically sell off everything and move into like some fucking mountainous town where there's limited internet connectivity and raise my children whenever I have them in like a non-internet connected world. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but there's no way you can grow up as a normal human person, adult, with this kind of stuff being pumped constantly into your feeds, you know. And this is the bull case for Meta, where Meta's like, look, we need to get these people off of this dopamine bullshit that TikTok is feeding people. and
That's
and
not the
provide
bull
an
case for
alternative.
Meta.
I don't think that's the. I don't think. First of all, I don't think that's the bull case for
Mm.
Meta, and I don't think they actually have that conversation. TikTok came in after. TikTok was a response to that.
TikTok just lowered the bar. Even like Instagram had some nonsense, and then TikTok was like, let's make it crazier, and it worked.
Yeah, it
And
was like
so-
that first Jerry Springer episode way back. The first one was someone threw a chair. And they were like, oh shit. And the ratings went up. Then it became like, let's try to do that twice a week. Now let's just make the whole show about that.
They
You know what I mean?
sensationalized it, yeah.
Now
Look,
it's all
but-
just DNA tests and chairs thrown, right? But that's what happens. It becomes like, unfortunately, it is what gets people to watch. It's like those Twitter accounts like fight clips, or like those just weird.
Meta's not immune to any of this, but I think Chris, you notice that when you're scrolling through Reels, it's not the same bullshit as TikTok. Like it's like
I see a lot of like travel stuff because like me and the wife, we love like sending each other like where we're gonna go. We have like an entire collection of like places that we want to visit. So I see that. I don't see this like this level of shit. I don't see on Instagram Reels. This is like all over TikTok, right? So but then again, Instagram is nothing but pretty much prostitutes that pretend like they're models. All they really do is like sell themselves on OnlyFans, and then they of course they have their occasional like
let's ask
trip to Dubai.
Here's the question. Here's the question, Amit. If you met a girl and she seemed cool and normal, and you guys really hit it off, and then she was like, "I'm a TikTok star, I make money," and she sent you that video and was like, "This is the last video that I put up," would you have a better?
Okay, only if she's Australian.
What?
So because I'm kidding.
No, like what would you
No,
really think?
it would be hard for me to respect it. It would be very hard for me to respect it. Now, if there's another part to her personality that's really incredible, and she's like, "Look, I do this for 3 hours. This is my thing. This is how I pay my bills. But like, I'm actually I want to start a business one day. I want to start it, and then I can."
She only accepted food if you threw it at her across the table. Like she demanded that all food be thrown at her, and
It's kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of.
I'm just like,
but obviously, like, look, that wouldn't be my go-to for a partner.
I am so disappointed. I am so disappointed.
That's your catchphrase.
Okay, here's the question, Carlos. If Margot Robbie did that for a living and she wanted to be with you, would you?
No, like that.
It's kind of disgusting. I'm sorry.
Margot Robbie just went from a 10 to a fucking 5.
Yeah, because you got to be like, at some point, you're gonna have to introduce this person to your friends. You're gonna have to, like, you're vouching for that, right? Or someone said they meet your family.
If it's a temporary thing, a means to an end, I'm okay with it. If it's like she wants to make a career out of being a TikTok influencer, doing that all day, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Nah, dude. I mean, look at this whole situation with Adam 22. You guys know who Adam 22 is? The podcast.
Yeah.
With Lena the Plug, his wife. Dude, he let some dude pipe her, right?
Oh,
and it's not. So here's the thing. I see them as a complete like different part of society. So it's like whatever. Like y'all do whatever you want. But dude, Adam, like you clearly did not want this, and then all of a sudden now, like. You just let it happen, and the way that he's coming off right now is really, really suspicious, like really sus about it. And it's like almost like he's like, "Oh, this doesn't impact me. This is okay." And you could see the man fucking dying inside.
Yeah, but the only pushback, Chris, is he did it for money, and their OnlyFans must be making millions of dollars because of this.
Dude, the
whole internet is talking about that.
How much money is your wife worth? Tell me.
No, I get no, but here's the contrary. Yeah. They're a public. He has had coitus with thousands of women during their 7-year relationship, and she's been fine with it. So this is kind of manly to me for him to be like, I'm secure enough in our relationship.
There is okay. Well,
there is an argument here.
No. Oh my God!
Okay, so let me spell out the argument. Let me spell out the argument. Then you guys react.
Like let me
put the context
this way.
Let me put the context.
There's
him and his wife.
Context for what you just said.
By the way, I would never do this, but let me put the context. It is a cuck. Yeah, it is called a cuck. But let me put the context. Him and his wife have been shooting porn for the past 7 years, and they do it with other girls exclusively. So his wife is letting him have relations with other women, like really famous porn stars, for the last 7 years. If anyone should be incredibly jealous, it should be her. The one time she wants to do it with another guy, and they're about to make a crap ton of money because that's way more valuable than just a guy and a girl, and he says sure, and that explodes their business. And he's secure enough to not let that mess up their relationship. I mean,
bro, they just got married and they have a kid.
No, they didn't, Chris. They have a kid. They got married 2 years ago. They have a whole kid. They've been.
That's what I'm saying.
for 7
That's
years.
his
have-
wife now.
You can't have
And
half
that's
a
his
kid.
kid.
What do you mean? Like you can't
Yeah, but
have,
also they're not in a. You got to remember this. Big Ray is a good comment. They're not a traditional relationship. They're not like monogamous like that. They're not like, oh, we're gonna be with each. And that's, if you guys don't understand polyamory, which I can never do that either. That's fine, but I don't think it's to be like, oh, that's the worst thing in the world. There's people that have multiple partners. It is what it is, and they're making money off of it.
Man, I'm just saying society is pretty much done. At this point, society is just like, whatever,
I
fuck
think
it.
I think this argument of like, well, they're making money on it. Well, they're making money on it is like what allows the most ridiculous behavior to exist. And
That's
allows
fine,
people
but
to
it's
turn a
money.
blind
At the
eye
end of the day,
to
it's a
everything.
business. Like then you have to say porn is. You have to say strippers. You have to say all this shit is ridiculous. You have to say Wall Street bankers are ridiculous.
Because
Everything's ridiculous.
there's levels to it. But I would argue, and have argued that in the same way that porn has destroyed a generation of men, social media has destroyed a generation of women. And if you just keep taking that to the extreme, what happens when the last Gen X person dies? When there's no more people left that remember a world without the internet, and that's all that's left.
Look, I agree with you. I would never.
Look, I'm a bit older. I'm
saying.
probably going to be well advanced by the time that happens. But for people like you or your kids, like that's the world that they're going to inherit. So you're working your ass off. You're doing videos 10 times a day. You're trying to generate all this money to leave them in a world that's basically fucking cesspool.
All right, we got to transition to stocks. Everyone wants to talk about stocks. But the point is, I agree with you guys. I just see the business side to it. I would never engage in that stuff. But yeah, people do whatever they need to do for money. And I guess it's turning into a degenerate society. And it is what it is. And that's why we talk about finance here, because we try to
a
make
lot of
some
things that
money
you
off
can
stocks.
there's a lot of things you can do for money. In other words, you've never left money on the table because you didn't want to make it that way.
I got offered $20,000 to do a sponsorship in the summer, and I was like, no, because it was a stupid company. So I understand your point. I just also see the other side, and I'm not going to completely shut them off. I just don't agree with it, which is fine.
Listen, I thought the best part about the whole thing is he was doing an interview with her and the dude that piped her, and the dude that piped her, he was like, so Adam, so basically the guy asked, the guy's name is Jason Love. So Adam's like, yeah, what do you think about that? And so Jason Love was like, yeah, man, it's good that you have enough mental maturity to let your wife get banged, but I could never see myself doing that. I was like, bro, that was like the piece right there where you have a porn star saying, hey, even I have fucking boundaries and limits when it comes to like my wife or my like lover, it's just whatever. We can move on to stocks, but this is just, I feel like every time I log onto the internet, it's like, God damn it, man. Why did I even log on?
Yeah. Yeah, well, thanks for sharing, Chris. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having.
I mean, we're definitely demonetized now.
Like they're opening Pandora's box.
He was like, this was the worst thing I ever saw. Let me share it with you and 361 other people. Spread it. Then he won this.
Okay. So CPI came in at 3%, down from 4% last month. Core at 0.2, down from 0.4 last month. Chris, what was your raw reaction to inflation, and what do you think it's doing to the economy right now in terms of small and mid caps, and what's your strategy for it?
Y'all remember the Jeffersons, like the song that played in the Jeffersons? Me and the wife. Yep, me and the wife were playing that in our living room, like, because I was like, yeah, those TFC spreads are gonna print. I'll be honest, I was doing it. It's just
but where's TFC right now?
Man.
TFC's at $33, but the spread is.
Yeah, the spread's doing well.
The spread's doing well.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things. The market, like, I'm starting to see levels of disinflation starting to come up, which leads me to believe that a lot of companies that have been sold off purely because of this high interest rate changes and how it impacts their business. This is going to be good. So I'm starting to see areas that I want to be invested in for 2024. So, I'm happy. I'm up a lot this year.
Are you scared of a rug pull at all?
Today, not really.
Or I think in general, are you scared of
even a minor rug pull here and there in the next few months doesn't mean much because we're trending in the right direction. I will say this though, next CPI from what the Cleveland Nowcast is saying might be actually a little bit higher than the 3 that we just got, because there is some level of commodity inflation that's happening that may not exactly present themselves, because summer usually is a strong consumption month. So just from a seasonality standpoint, it could be not so good year over year. So just be on the, I guess the cautious side of that.
We're
But
also
other than
getting
that,
some sort of seasonal rotation too of money. Like now it's coming out of the mega caps and sort of trickling down. This is no different than what happens with crypto, which we eventually do have to talk about crypto with you guys. I've been tagging you on stuff and you guys pretend like you don't see the fucking tags. But
no, I decided I'm going to put $1,000 into Bitcoin and let it ride for the next.
Very good, very good. I'm proud of you. And
so that's
Chris,
it.
you need to do the same. But my
I don't know.
point
I don't know about that. I might just
typically-
buy some. I might just buy some micro strategy. That's about it.
okay. If you're gonna do anything, buy GBTC. If you're gonna buy like something, anyway, the point is, this is typically what happens. Like the big boys swell up, and then people will pull those profits down when valuations get crazy, and they start to trickle down. Jesse Dow put up some really good data about this. That it's not trickling down to like the mid cap stocks, and that's what we're seeing. But then you have, and I texted you guys about this, but then Nvidia hits a fucking all-time high.
All-time high.
It hit an all-time high, and I'm wondering if it had anything to do with XAI. Can you bring up that page? XAI was launched today.
We got to talk about that.
Elon Musk's other AI official AI company, which is interesting because if you look at what their mission statement is and what they're actually trying to tackle, this is interesting.
He made it his Twitter bio. Wow. Okay. So we're transitioning topics right now to XAI. We'll probably get
can someone in the chat, because people were complaining about not having timestamps. I don't know if you've been doing timestamps.
No, I have. No, they're there. They're there. Sometimes it does, guys. Sometimes it doesn't load. You got to like refresh YouTube.
Yeah, you saw that one dude who was like, "I'm unsubscribing. I don't have time for this." It's like, what do you mean? We had the time to sit here and record it. The hell's your problem?
People are interesting, but no, there's timestamps on at least. I would imagine all the episodes. Maybe I missed one of them, but it's there. Okay, so Carlos, walk us through what is this XAI thing?
I mean, I'm your guess is as good as mine. He's saying understanding the universe. Can you zoom in a little bit more, just to read maybe a little of the mission statement? Today, we announced the formation of XAI. The goal of XAI is to understand the true nature of the universe. You can meet the team and ask us questions during a Twitter Spaces chat on Friday, July 14th. That would be cool to be a part of. Our team is led by Elon Musk, SpaceX. We previously worked at DeepMind, OpenAI, Google Research, Microsoft, blah, blah, blah.
Is this their ChatGPT competitor? What the hell is this? What are they trying to do here?
But that's what I thought initially. He was saying Truth GPT, but if it's on the front page saying that it's their ideas.
Okay, so if they're making a ChatGPT competitor, I think Chris will agree with me. That's the dumbest thing they could do, because no one gives a fuck about these large language models where you're typing stuff in. Like, there's too many of them. Quora has one, Snapchat has one, Facebook's gonna have one.
It was a novelty that kind of wore off after you.
It's a novelty, and I don't think it's gone forever, but it's not that exciting. I think they're using the Twitter data, which is why he bought Twitter ultimately, to do something really interesting with this. I don't know what it means. I don't know how it impacts Tesla. I'm sure there's some
there's comments on
correlation.
That. If you scroll down, there are some comments on that page about how it's maybe not Tesla, but about how it's going to benefit Twitter. And then I sent you something funny, which I'm not usually a fan of Earl on Twitter, but he had a good one today, a zinger for Elon Musk. I sent it in the private chat.
I'm getting a little bit moderately bearish on AI, actually.
What do you
not
mean by
to
that?
say, okay, so typically you're going to see, this is what typically happens in a market cycle. A new industry comes out, everyone piles in, their shit just rockets to the moon. Okay, as long as you have AI in your name, you're going to go up to the moon. So you're starting to see that with so many companies where it's like, oh, you're an AI company. Everything's an AI company. Even if like you're selling shoes, it's like selling shoes using AI. Lending money via AI. Like it's all AI. Now, one of the things that typically happens is when you have this real big bout of euphoria, eventually the performance has to come along with it. So if you cannot perform and those numbers don't make sense, shit crashes very quickly. It happened with weed stocks. It happened with EVs. Like, look at what's going on with the EV market right now. It happened with the tech bubble in the year 2000. The problem is this is literally like a game of musical chairs where you don't necessarily know when the bottom is going to fall out, right? I know people that were buying Tilray. If you guys remember Tilray, the weed company, like literally in like the hundreds, $200 range. It was the same thing with so many other industries. So I think that there are definitely going to be winners in terms of an AI like future. It's just not every single person deserves the kind of valuations that they're getting. So that froth will eventually have to be, like taken out somewhere. My question is who? And right now, the frothiest of the frothy looks to be NVIDIA. So my thing is
NVIDIA's frothy.
Well, the thing is, like, right now there's a really big demand in AI chips and everything else. Like, everyone is throwing money at AI, VC funds. If you have a business that's AI, you're gonna buy up a whole bunch of AI chips that are, NVIDIA chips to do model training and all this other stuff. The question is, how sustainable is that going into the future? Like how much money can companies spend on AI hardware before you need to show tangible results? In which case, if you can't show tangible results, what do? You stop buying AI hardware, right? So I think we've run into a situation right now with the growth expectations of NVIDIA are so high in terms of their hardware segment.
Hold on, but they gave that guidance, dude. It wasn't like
No,
the market.
listen,
they were saying this is what we
no,
think.
no. I think it's totally fine that they did 1 quarter guide that was really high and exceptional. The question is that same demand for chips going to be there in 2024? Is it going to be there in 2025? Because now you not only need the demand to grow in 2024 and 2025, you need it to grow exponentially, because at this point that's what the valuation is calling for.
But isn't that the argument for AI? Isn't that
exactly? And that is
that's
the idea behind Moore's law, where like every 18 months, or 18 to 24 months, the compute power is like doubling. And so you're on old technology. You're just, you need to continually reinvest, or you're going to be left behind if you are in fact getting benefits from AI on the software side.
Bloomberg said enterprise AI spend is going to be 2.7 trillion by 2033. If they're right about that, that's all going to need compute. And then it seems like NVIDIA is going to supply that, or AMD, but there's only a couple of them.
Like I said, I have to talk to more AI researchers about this. I've been told that things are moving from model training to inferencing as a primary location of where AI is going.
Rango was talking about that.
Yeah, so it's not just a simple I'm never going to short NVIDIA. So some people are like, Chris sounds like Jim Cramer tonight. Like, bro, I would never short NVIDIA. Okay, this is a profitable company with some amazing technology, with potential like there is no tomorrow. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and say that, NVIDIA is going to always keep growing no matter what. There was this talk of OpenAI, what is that thing called? ChatGPT. The volume, the website traffic actually started to go down. Right now, there is something to be said, maybe school, the reasoning I heard was some school kids are not using ChatGPT as much. Maybe that's why it's, the utilization has gone down. I think it's probably more because right now there's just so many other people doing the same fucking thing. Like you have Bard AI, you've got a couple of other things that I downloaded. What was this called? That's like a new thing. There are so many things coming up. It leads me to believe that eventually things will get competed away. Profits will get competed away. That's my point. AMD is actually releasing some AI chips too that some people were saying that could match a TikTok. I mean, not TikTok. Sorry. Someone just fucking put TikTok on the stupid thing. So I'd read
Hutchins says, we need to separate
Yeah.
AI hype and its ultimate promise. Euphoria is building now, and it will go a few times from here before it's tamed, but eventually in the longer frame, the potential happens.
Yeah.
It has to. I mean,
it's
has
like
to.
I think it's like the internet, right? Where the year 2000, everyone and their mother was a .com website, blah blah blah, going to generate this much money. It's like the same thing now. It's like, oh, everyone and their mother is like coming up with the AI products, but like, how many of them are actually going to be useful? How many of them are actually going to be monetizable? And who ultimately is going to control that ecosystem? Because that's what you're looking for. Look at the search engines. When you looked at how many search engines, you guys remember, well, you probably wouldn't, Amit, but you remember
I remember
Carlos
Ask.com, Alta Vista.
Yeah.
I remember those guys, Yahoo.
Right. So there was so many search engines at one point. The question is, Google beat all of them and pretty much dominated. My question is, with AI, who is that going to be? I know yeah, okay, yeah, good luck with that. But that's what I'm saying, that this is the kind of stuff that's just who is going to be able to successfully monetize AI and get it to a point where it's a profitable venture. Because at this point, with all the hardware spending that I'm seeing, it's not there. They're losing money,
But if you could take, it's like right now, ChatGPT is a novelty thing that people are playing with, or kids are using it to write papers, right? But you could see where if they could make that, say, as part of an API that they could offer to a bank, and that could become your customer service representative, essentially. Just train it on just the data that's needed to run that business, and then you could have a natural language conversation that's actually useful. Most chatbots like Erica on whatever that is, Bank of America, is absolute garbage and it's useless, but the technology is already there. It's just that they're not smart enough. And then if you ask yourself, okay, if they could do that and they could replace all those people that you're chatting with, how much money do they save? Because markets love when you reduce your workforce, right?
All right, but what is Elon trying to do here? Because I still don't.
Elon, I was just bringing up an article. It's funny you said it, because someone mentioned Ray at 737 was like, you all should talk about the dojo. Tesla right now has the 7th largest GPU supercluster in the world. That's just their on their.
They're using that to power FSD, right?
Well, that's the software that's being used to train the FSD the FSD systems that's going to run in the car. But in tandem with that, they're building their own system. If we watched AI Day, that is their dojo is their version of a computer supercluster. That is, like, right now NVIDIA GPUs are flexible. They can be used for everything. You can use them for video gaming, you can use them for and you can use them for AI, right? So but they designed their own chips and their own systems that are specifically for AI. And I'm looking for the exact number. Maybe somebody knows it in the chat of how much they've said that they intend on increasing their compute power between now and like next year. It is a ridiculous number. Like, I can't explain how ridiculous this number is in terms of compute power. And you have to ask yourself, like, okay, well, what are they planning? And part of what they what they're planning to do is to offer AI as a service. Like, AI could be a service. So Dojo itself, you would be able to, like the way that you would use AWS to store data, you could actually have
but
the Dojo as an AI
is that
service
a real business, bro? Like, NVIDIA's already doing that. AMD's are like, who, like, do they even have the infrastructure to support and scale? That seems like a
all of that was laid out. All of that was laid out in AI Day. Yeah, and that is part of the idea. Well, if you think about it, if they're planning to have a robotaxi network, right, you need a massive AI system to be able to manage that.
Who's going to be buying Tesla's AI compute?
What do you mean? Like who would be there?
Is Cisco going to buy them? Like what enterprises are going to use Tesla's
any companies, right? Like, if they can compete cost wise with a company buying and owning and maintaining their own cluster, right, and just use and buy space or buy compute power on Tesla server, why wouldn't you do it? Like, if you're a CFO, why would you go to the trouble of buying and owning and operating all the gear and having to upgrade it yourself when you can get the same results by leasing it in that sense from Tesla? It's the same reason why people don't build their own servers and they just put their stuff on the AWS cloud.
So you're saying Tesla can take a little bit of NVIDIA's lunch here, is what you're saying? Yeah,
well, he's said it before. He's said it in AI Day, that part of what he tells the team is he's like, one day I want to be able to pull the plug on the NVIDIA GPU. Yeah, I was trying to come up with a joke for that. Actually, I couldn't. Like, what is Zuck's copy of XAI going to be? Like, what is he going to?
Okay.
I think now it's the 5th. Okay, so then this article that I'm looking at was 2022, and it was the 7th largest cluster in the world. Now someone's saying it's the 5th largest cluster in the world. It's no joke. And theirs was 5,760 NVIDIA A100s.
The two companies that I think will eventually, dominate this market are Amazon and Google. Both have the infrastructure that they need, both have the understanding, and they have the prior existing relationships with the businesses that are ultimately going to utilize software that's based in AI. So I would say those two companies are likely to be the biggest beneficiaries. Maybe Microsoft too.
Why do you guys think that Google is the big tech company that has been up the least out of all the Magnificent Seven this year?
Because everyone is thinking that ChatGPT has destroyed their search business, which is their bread and butter, right? And which is completely wrong, because here's a question: do you guys still use Google to search?
I use Google so much. I use it so much.
I use Google all the time. We're on a Google product right now.
There was a great infographic of how much of their revenue. It's still something like 87% of their revenue. But here's the thing, Chris. It's kind of like there was a ChatGPT moment where these chatbots were shit, and then suddenly they were amazing. Like, then you could actually have a conversation with it. So maybe ChatGPT or large language model search isn't there yet, but once it gets there, or once someone has the right product, it will take over. And if it's not Google, then people will migrate to it if it's just easier to use. So
I've tried using multiple AIs. I even tried actually a demo that's not even released to the public. Let me tell you, man, those hallucinations, unless they can completely get rid of those hallucinations, they're not going to be able to utilize this to do like critical mission things. Like it's just
Bro, you know what was
I-
funny? I did the Twitter
Mhm.
post the other day talking about Google's revenue, and I said they made a $2 billion off GCP, and Matt corrected me. He says like it's actually $7 billion. I got that shit from Bard. I asked Bard, can you break down Q1 Google earnings so I could put in the Twitter post? And I just
Yeah,
copied and
bro.
pasted. I was like, Bard's Google's shit is not gonna lie about Google's earnings. And they
Bro, it is horrible inaccuracy. Like you can ask it to do certain tasks, but dude, you have to literally be on top of the AI model so much to the point where you're wasting time researching shit yourself. You know, like I would trust it to do something like rewrite an article for me, or like, or summarize a data point, or look at like a whole bunch of information and condense it down. But I would never trust it to give me live data, because I've tried it before where I'm like, oh, give me the PE ratios of the these companies, and
trash.
completely garbage,
Fuda.
bro.
But don't you
Completely
see
garbage.
the
Yeah.
problem is that the correction of that is actually it's intensive on the human side. All someone needs to do is get one AI that can correct the other AIs, and that's it. That problem is solved. Like there's
Nah,
almost
man,
no
but
problem that can't be solved with that. It just needs a
but-
large enough data set. I mean, but we're seeing that even with FSD. The problem with FSD, the reason why it hasn't been solved, you could argue that some of it is data. They just don't have enough data, but they have 250 million miles worth of data. I mean, they have way more data than anyone else is even close. I think Cruise and Waymo combined have 2 million miles, right? So
Yeah.
they have most of the data, but the other part of it is just the compute power that's necessary to feed it. Like, when they announced that they fed it 150,000 new clips, that's not the entire data set that they actually have. They've collected the miles, but that's not all being fed in the computer. So it just comes down to compute power, and that's just a matter of time. The chips are getting faster, the clusters are getting bigger, and eventually it will get there. And then once it gets there, you just need to give it a different training set. So you train it on the ways that these AIs are hallucinating and find ways that it can fix it. In other words, it'll be like AIs will be like a mental doctor, like a psychiatrist, right? A doctor that will come in and fix the other AIs. Because this goes back to what we were saying, that one comment that we had where we read that part about like the AI training the feedback loop, where it starts to get like basically the first generation AIs are training on human data, but as we allow AI to create and generate more data, it's like ruining the pool of data that subsequent AIs are going to train on, and will amplify those effects. That is a problem that needs to be fixed, and someone is working on that. Someone has to be working on that.
I would hope so. It's just like right now, in terms of business use cases, I don't necessarily see this being like the top of the list of priorities for a lot of companies, because they thought that this was the promised land of efficiency. But I know a lot of companies right now that are like, wait a second, what do you mean you can't give me the accurate information that I need? Even though you feed it your own data, there's still hallucinations happening. Like,
well, there's also biases that are being built into it, right? And you've seen some of
Yes.
that. You've seen people doing at least early tests with political
Yeah.
biases, right?
Now,
Say something nice about
yeah.
this guy, say something nice about this guy, and you'll get a response in one and not the other.
Now, there was a really cool use case that I actually saw the other day, and I wanted to bring it up here. But basically, when you schedule a Zoom meeting, you can actually see the breakdown of how much it's going to cost you to have this meeting based on the salaries of the people, the hours, the resources, all that stuff. So now what happens is you're like stopping. Let me see. Zoom.
By the way, while you're bringing that up, for those that don't know, first of all, thank you to the 406 people being here. It means a lot to us that you're spending your time with us. Shopify released a really cool product called Sidekick, where they put it on your store and you can ask it questions like, why is my traffic down? What's my net margins? Blah, blah, blah. Or like, how do I become a better like entrepreneur? And it will have an intelligent conversation with you about your store. And I feel like that's a really good use case of an LLM trained on your store's data to be able to give you insights like in seconds to ask questions. So that's
that day that you weren't able to make the chat, and it ended up being Chris and I. We had a conversation. We were talking about like threads, and it was the day that threads was released. I have a theory that that Facebook or Meta will be the first company to launch a large scale AI that is responsible for all the content moderation.
Carlos, I was there and I was talking to you exactly about this.
Were you?
I was literally talking with you. Chris had to leave early. I was.
Then it was Chris, right? Okay, so so no, then I would want Chris's take on that, because I remember being like, we should talk to the guys about that. I
Look, you
think
have a
that
good
would
take.
be
You have a
a
good take.
monumental moment, but it's also scary. It would also
Yeah,
be
they're going to take Facebook doesn't have text data as well as Twitter. By the way, Threads I think is a fluke because I'm not using that shit anymore. I don't know if anyone's using that shit.
Has
Is anyone
anybody that
actually going back to that app? I tried going on
yeah.
the app and all I saw were celebrities. I'm like, fuck this, bro. What is the point of this app?
Well, has anybody from the chat? I think this is where we should mind the chat. Is anybody here actively using Threads? Do you like it more now, or do you still like it as much as you have? What I'm finding is like,
Okay, hold on. We'll transition to Threads. Let's Chris finish his last point, then we'll go to Threads.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
So here's the. Can you guys see the screen real quick?
Zoom
yeah,
in
make it a little bigger. Make it a little bigger.
There you go. So I can't because it just resizes, but
Oh, okay.
this is what it is. So you can see here, based on all the people that you're invited, right? You can see what the total cost to your organization is going to be, because it, like I said, it outlines everyone's probably their salaries and how much time it's going to take and so on and so forth. And so now it's like, hey,
you're saying you're saying that that's how much it costs your organization to have that meeting because of like what it costs you in terms of the time of those people.
Right.
That's
right. So this way you can reduce down the number of like bullshit meetings. Cause I have, if you look at my calendar for work, like when I was working daytime, bro, I used to attend so many meetings that was just literally like me being there. And it's like, Chris, what do you think? Yeah, I agree. And that was it. That was my entire contribution.
70% of your salary is for you to sit on a Zoom.
Yeah. And it was really bad. So I'm thinking that this is one of those things that like could really help organizations. So it's like, these are the kinds of things that need to be built. And now here's the thing though, the total cost, how do you calculate that? You need access to like an HR system where now you see everyone's total salaries, you see, the benefits that each person is having. And so you can use that to model that into your meetings and then see where things go. Because, there's always going to be things like, oh, what if someone stays for overtime? How much do they get paid then? Like, this is the CEO. This is how much this time is worth.
Now, how big of a company do you think that could become if this is
listen, people are already doing it. They're just doing it with spreadsheets. I mean, this is why you track everything. And then you basically use formulas in the spreadsheets to get the answer that you want. How much are we paying or how much are we spending or wasting money on meetings? How many of these meetings are actually necessary? What is the ROI? These are questions that CFOs ask, right? But they just don't have a way of getting that data directly. But an AI that has access to all of the data, you can just ask it the question in natural language and give you the answer. So it's not giving you anything that you don't already have. It's just instant.
But see, here's the thing. Either that's a standalone startup and it becomes a big company, or something like a Palantir can just add that as a service or I don't know, another enterprise. So Snowflake adds that as a service, right? Like, I think that's your point, Chris, is like a lot of these things can become commoditized and maybe there's not a huge market for it. Like you think.
Well, the thing is, it's all about imagination, right? Like, who would have thought? I never thought this. I never even knew that this was a possibility. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, this is actually really good, because now the organizations, they can make a lot better decisions when it comes to having meetings. And you guys know, like, having meetings, like if you're in, well, maybe not you because you don't work in the corporate world, but Carlos, if you're working in a corporate setting, how many fucking meetings there are that absolutely do nothing. Literally, it's
I'm the worst. Honestly, I'm the worst on meetings because, like, I'm the only guy that can never.
The best example of this,
huh? Say again.
Jeffrey Toobin.
Who's that? Who do you mean?
He's the guy on CNN who was jerking off during a Zoom meeting. He kept his camera on.
Oh yeah,
and because the meeting was so boring, he decided to jerk off.
Yeah, but like that's the last thing I'm thinking. I just want to get the hell off the friggin' meetings. Although, I mean, sometimes you do get on a meeting with somebody who's super hot and you happen to pin that person. We've all done that. You just,
the point is, though, if the meetings are that boring, that's what you have to do.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like, but for me, I'm the worst on these meetings because I'm in my industry. If I'm not physically doing something, like I'm the only person in the room that can't be doing something and work still be moving forward. I can be working with somebody in the room that's on a phone call or checking email, and that's not moving the project forward. So a lot of times I'm much more protective over my time, and I try to get to the essence of what people are saying quicker. Because if you have a 40-minute meeting, most of the time they're going to use 40 minutes when you really only need 10.
So this is like one of the scenarios that I see this becoming really good. Like, I regularly have to have sometimes bridge calls if something goes down. So I have to have a Zoom meeting where I have multiple things come on. So I have vendors come on. I have network IT infrastructure people come on. I have local users come on, and I have to send this email out. Literally, like, you don't know what the total time is going to take to resolve the issue. Sometimes it could be a 2 hour, it could be 3 hours, it could be sometimes even 5 hours. But eventually it gets resolved. I would love to have a post-meeting cost breakdown of everyone that was there, because then I can go back to the vendor and say, hey, listen, your software, because it didn't do X, Y, and Z, this is how much it cost us. We've had to deal with this issue 5 times. Here it is. Here's the cost breakdown. You figure out how we can justify this. So that next time I'm trying to do like vendor like negotiations, I know that like your software's downtime is costing me this much money to address. So like these are like the operational decisions I could see CFOs and everyone else making. Like it's just, after seeing that, I was like, wow, this is actually a really cool thing. Because
all right, well then I'll make what could be either an unpopular or like an odd take. Are we sleeping on Zoom?
No, because their growth isn't there, bro.
Hold on. Wait. But let me finish.
The product is phenomenal, by the way.
Let me finish. If Zoom has access to all of the internal company meetings and can parse the data and have a language model, right? Well, we know what the cost is. It's all going to him anyway. For us, it's fucking zero. He's taking all of the freaking money. But the point is, if Zoom is where all of these meetings are taking place and it knows who's speaking, right? And it can have a language model that can have the transcript of everything that's being said and start to generate this data, it is basically someone that is sitting in on every meeting at every corporation. That's really valuable data, and it's data that is specific to each company, right? And then if they have an AI that can make suggestions, Chris has been in these many meetings. He's spoken a total of 13, 14 times over 25 meetings and said 86 words. This might not be the best use of that employee's time. Like, really think about how deep that could go.
It could go
having that data.
It's a good argument.
And it could go kind of dystopian too, where literally like your like visuals on the meeting where you're looking at the screen and your level of interest using facial recognition could say like, even though Chris was at this meeting, he was not paying attention, in terms of HR
off during the meeting.
Well, not jerking off, but basically it could be something that HR could use.
He was
Christopher was watching Wolf of Wall Street at a certain scene for some reason.
So it's just one of those things. Like Zoom, I have to, you know what? Talking about it now,
I'm really starting to think that we are sleeping on it. And this is what Kathy Woods keeps saying, is that it's an AI play. And it really isn't until like this conversation where it just clicked. Zoom is sitting in every fucking meeting at every company where they're talking about internal shit. And they're seeing the inefficiencies and they're seeing what
But
works.
it doesn't answer the distribution argument that
involved.
Teams has. It doesn't answer the fact that they're limited in their growth because of Teams and Google Meet and FaceTime.
Well, but if they offer a if they offer a product or a service that is not easily replicable, or for example, let's say Zoom is. Let's just go down this rabbit hole. Let's say Zoom is the first to market with this idea where it's like, we're going to have somebody who's going to give you like your meeting minutes, right? We're going to take over all of that. You don't need to have somebody in there taking notes. We're going to give you the notes, and then we're going to give you the data on it. If they're first to market, once you get a company in and you generate enough data, it becomes very hard to switch over to another company, even if someone like Teams does offer it. Just throwing it out there. I'm like really starting to think that maybe there is something that at least me as missing.
I think we should definitely research it more, because I don't think Zoom is going anywhere, and they're a profitable company. They're at $20 billion right now in terms of market cap. So they've definitely taken their hits. But yeah, it's one of those things that we definitely should do more research.
Yeah, but look, Nick Hill, 757. It's not Zoom data. It's HR data pushed on Zoom. You don't need any data from HR. You're literally sitting in every meeting. If I sat in on every single Zoom call that was happening at every company, I would know. I'm gathering a tremendous amount of data just by what's being said, the files that are being transferred. And if you, like Chris said, facial recognition and screen recognition, you know what they're sharing. You know the files that they're sharing. You can dive into that. There's a lot of data that you don't need from HR that you're only getting that's being generated at the meetings. That is the purpose of the meetings, and that is monetizable.
But how monetizable do you think it is? Like, is it trillion?
Are you kidding me? To a company? If you've got like a Fortune 500 company, that's how many Zoom meetings do you think they're having per day?
Bro, everyone, small, medium, large,
right? Everyone's on Zoom calls. If you could pay a small fee, and like Chris was saying, be able to analyze the effectiveness of these meetings on a per employee basis, per employee, per department, bro, that really does hit your
it's
bottom
holy
line.
grail. Check out what I just shared with you, Amit. This is a new product that they just launched. That's let's check it out together.
Our days may look a little different. Some of us commute to the office. Others grab coffee downstairs or work from anywhere. We love being together face to face, but we can't always be together in the same place at the same time. Zoom bridges the gap, giving everyone a chance to be included, to share their ideas and collaborate as one team.
Good morning, everyone. Let's talk about today's broadcast.
Zoom Room's Smart Gallery uses AI and a single camera meeting room setup to pick people out from a crowded meeting room, making in-room participants equal to those joining remotely. But what about larger rooms and bigger meetings? The ones where there are more people or a bigger space that makes it hard to see or hear everyone when you're not in person. Imagine if you could solve the problem for everyone. Zoom Room's Intelligent Director does just that. Powered by AI, Intelligent Director uses cameras from the leading hardware manufacturers to capture multiple video streams, analyze them in real time, and displays the best view of meeting participants, giving everyone the equity they deserve. Intelligent Director adapts as people enter and leave the room, so there's no need for someone to manually adjust the room settings or tend to the cameras. Meeting participants can even move around the room, gesture naturally, and whiteboard seamlessly together. Intelligent Director finds the best view of everyone in the room, even if they're blocked by other participants.
Wow. It was such a great meeting. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you guys all later.
So whether you're in person or remote, Intelligent Director gives participants an inclusive and collaborative experience.
Now, this is kind of interesting in terms of like use cases, because that's what I'm seeing right now. Transition from
sick, man.
Yeah, it's transitioning from work from home to now hybrid, where half of your office is on site, the other half is work from home. You have meetings with directors, you have meetings with teams that are across the country, and this has been a pain in the ass, by the way, because I've actually sat on a Zoom meeting, where literally all I see is like small heads everywhere. You don't know who's talking, you don't know who's interacting or anything, and it's just like, who said that? Like, I literally had the CEO say, who said that? Because they were on Zoom, everyone else was in the meeting. So it's like these are the kinds of innovations that I think that are monetizable. And the one thing I do like about Zoom is that Zoom has some really dynamic leadership. If you know the story behind Zoom, the CEO, I think Eric Wu. Was it Eric Wu?
Eric Zhu.
Eric Zhu started off at Cisco WebEx, which, by the way, WebEx is awesome, and ended up founding Zoom because they weren't innovating fast enough. Zoom is actually a very innovative company. Till this day, I still see everyone using Zoom. I just wonder what the true market potential for this is. And there might actually be some big catalysts coming along for them. Like I said, let's do more research.
I think there's something to that. I would love to just maybe take one question.
We got someone in the back. So we got
if it's Trader Wong coming in to start.
Not Wong.
Oh,
Scott.
I was trying to make it look good real quick.
He's like, bitch, stay in the closet. I told you not to come out.
I didn't know you're gonna run that moment.
Put the lotion on.
I wish my colleague was here because my question relates to last night.
Okay.
But definitely for you, Chris, and of course for Carlos and Amit as well. I am going to look at modular homes. Y'all know what modular homes are?
Yeah.
The ones that are built in the factory piece by piece.
Yep.
But like,
the shit that Boxable is doing?
What's that?
The shit that Boxable is doing?
No, Boxable is more like tiny houses.
Okay.
Modulars can be freaking 2-story, 3,000 square foot houses, but mine's gonna be more like a 1,500 square foot, more modest house. But 100 yards from the ocean, so pretty cool. But I'm scared of that 8% interest rate too, and I'm scared of what Chris said last night. But then I take Vitali's advice and listen to him, and he sounds a lot like my dad, who's a real estate agent. So, and that's what you called him out on, Chris, last night. You were like, you sound like a real estate agent. So I'm just,
give some numbers. How much does the house cost? What would
it's going to be high 200s when the same house 2 years ago was going to be like low 200s. I own the lot. It's a $40,000 lot, completely paid for.
Is it? It's
I'm
an investment
pretty
property,
sure-
or it's to
Yeah,
live
is
in?
it an investment? Or are you looking to live in this thing?
That's the thing. Like, I'm looking to live in it for the first year, but I don't want to be here long term. But I live in the fastest growing county in North Carolina. There's 100 counties in North Carolina. It's growing 20% per year. And I say to myself, you know, I can live there for a year while I'm learning real estate through my dad. Maybe get some roommates to pay me $800 a month. Easy to find roommates. I rent this place that I'm living out right now, and I find roommates so quick. But then I say to myself, you know, if I do move to Charlotte, because that's the ultimate plan, moving back to Charlotte, I can find, you know, this is the fastest growing county in North Carolina. I can find a family that wants to pay $3,000 a month or $2,500 a month on my $1,800 mortgage.
Well, that was the
something
question.
like that.
Like even Matt Money asked that at 8:04. If the house is self-sustainable and you're confident, say 90% confident that you can always keep it rented and it's always paying for itself, you can not only bank whatever the profits are monthly, you can just start building a little, you know, an account that's holding on to this money for the bad times. But if you're sure that the cash flow can sustain itself, what do you care?
Well,
what would be
I'm
your
not sure. You know, my thing is, I do think I could do the long-term rental. One thing that brought me down is when I bought this lot, I found out that HOA doesn't allow short-term rentals, and I know I'd be able to kill it Airbnb, but the neighborhood doesn't allow short-term rentals. Maybe I'd do Airbnb until I got in trouble and the HOA said stop. But
what are the penalties for that?
I don't know.
You don't want that. You don't want to deal with that.
The
You don't
whole
want
I'm just saying,
HOA
I
stuff.
don't, you don't want to deal with
I don't
that.
know.
Chris, should he buy it or not?
A couple $100.
I don't know, dude. I mean, you'd have to really dig into the numbers and also the region. I would go with what your dad is saying. If he's a realtor, he knows what he's talking about and he's done well in the market. That's the person you want to reach out to. You know, I think that there is a correction coming, but I can't tell you where that correction is going to be. It's going to
Exactly. And you know, I hear you. I heard.
Yeah.
But here's my question.
Yeah.
Wait, here's my question. This is a modular home. So this is a home that you'll be buying from a company that's like fabricating it in a factory and then delivering it and installing it on site. Are you telling me that the price of that commodity goes up and down based on market value?
I mean, it's just gone up. It's just like regular house, you know. I mean, it's just gone up, just like regular houses have.
That to me, I don't know. That to me doesn't make sense. Just fundamentally, it's
I've never
the same.
walked into a
Why?
modular home ever. I've never seen
Why
it.
doesn't that
You
make
might have
sense?
not even known it, but the idea is like that's I don't know. That's like saying like I don't know, like a car. You know, like cars. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me that. But fine. If
Well,
that
let
is
me
the
tell you
case.
just this quick story. My dad was, because I've been in the market for a house for like 3 years, and my dad was showing me a house that he thought was a great opportunity for me to buy 3 years ago, and he, you know, great house. You should buy this, Scott. Come on, man, buy this. I even put an offer in on it. I'm glad it didn't go through. He then found out it was a modular home. He had no idea it was a modular home. He's been doing real estate for 20 years. You can't even tell the difference between a modular home and a real.
Is there anything contractually or in the law that says they have to disclose that?
I think you know, I'm a licensed real estate agent, and I honestly can't tell you this answer for sure, but I don't think I think when you put it on the MLS, if you want to sell it, that you do have to identify that this is a modular home. But there's a lot of arguments out there that modular homes are better built, better equipped for a hurricane, which is a big thing here in North Carolina coast, than a stick-built home. So I don't think it's necessarily a worse investment than a stick-built. I think a manufactured trailer is, but I don't think a modular home is.
I think it comes down to a lot more
these interest rates.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a lot more research because look, either Chris is going to be right or Vitaly is going to be right. One of them is going to be right about this. So the investment's either going to be good or bad over the next 5 years, and it depends on you kind of knowing that market really well, right?
Yeah, and also I don't know much about like how you would price a modular home versus something that's fixed versus I'm not that well versed into it. I'm just talking more on the macroeconomic side where me right now seeing that this is an unsustainable interest rate because so many people are completely out of the affording game. So one of two scenarios are going to come up. Either the price of the homes is going to come down or the interest rates are going to come down, right? Seeing that inflation is starting to come down significantly, I would assume that interest rates start to come down. which is good. But that also means that there's a lot of inventory, from what I can tell, that might be put on the market. One of the things that I'm looking at right now, in just your Charlotte area, is the amount of rentals that are there right now. Like, what's the zip code, if you don't mind sharing, like, of that
Well,
region?
I'm not in Charlotte. I want to move to Charlotte.
Yeah.
I'm at the coast. Charlotte's 3 hours from the coast. My zip code is
Right.
28462.
28462.
28462. All right. Well, the other thing is insurance is also another issue too, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, no, it's not going to be an outrageous insurance. I'm not in a flood zone. Like, yeah, I'm close to the water, but we've had hurricanes where it's put houses on the island 4 feet underwater, but where I live, it doesn't even get up to the street.
But
Sorry, can you say that one more time? I closed the
28462.
My other question would be, you said you own the land already, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you own the land, then when I bought my house and the land, right?
Yeah.
So it's one price. So I would imagine that your house would immediately be worth more, because you have to also add in the value of the land. So if you already own the land, right, and you're paying two and change for the house, there's no way that the land and the house can be appraised for less than that. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're already making. In other words, I think the fact that you own the land insulates you from a devaluation or depreciation, because of the fact that it's a total sale.
Yeah, well, it does, but that's only because I already have 40 grand equity locked up in that lot. But,
do you have a mortgage on that?
No, I've paid the whole 40 grand.
Okay.
But and one of my main things, I'm thinking they're gonna let me do this, but 40 grand. I talked to BB&T. I was already pre-approved last year with BB&T for because I was going to do new construction, actually stick built last year, backed out. Wish I hadn't, because that $240,000 build is now like $320,000. So now, that's why I'm scared, because of the interest rate, but shit just keeps getting higher. And it's like, if I keep waiting, it's just going to keep getting higher. No one fucking knows the future. Excuse me. But Adam was cussing so much on your
Bro, the way we started, this thing was demonetized like 2 minutes anymore. Okay,
so Matt says, are the homes next door 150 or 500?
Matt had two good questions. What are houses near you either valued at or selling for, and what is the general rent that in that area can command for something of equivalent size?
I can't tell you rent, but I can tell you my next door neighbors' houses are selling for 400 grand.
Okay. And what do you think you could rent that for? You said 2,500. You can get somebody in.
I think my mortgage would be around 18, 19, and I think I could easily rent it for 25.
Okay, so what would 18, 1900 in your area get me as a rental? Could I live in that area?
A 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath house on stilts, so you can park underneath. You can even build underneath if you want. But it's those houses, like beach houses, where they're 12 feet high and you can just park underneath the house.
Right.
So,
I'm not sure, man.
But the house is going to go from 240 to 280 if I put it on stilts.
Yeah. I'm not sure about any of this, because I'm not a realtor by any means. I'm literally purely talking out of what I'm seeing with overvaluation in the market. But remember, every market is different. Like, especially among housing, there's a lot of generalities with certain regions where there might have been overbuilding, and then there's some that they're not overbuilt. Like, I just looked at your area. It doesn't have that many rentals to begin with. So there's actually a lot of demand, but there's not many rentals. But if you go like literally 2 counties over, there's a shit ton of rentals in Myrtle Beach and all over the place.
And New Hanover County, where Wilmington is.
Yeah.
My area, it's a lot of Airbnbs. It's not a lot of long-term rentals, but there is a lot of Airbnb. I can't do Airbnb in my neighborhood.
Oh, in your specific neighborhood. Okay.
All right, we got some more people. We got some more people in the back, so we gotta move on. But yeah,
I'd say talk to your dad, man. Your dad is probably the best person to reach out to, because he's seeing the market and see what he says, and then make an educated decision.
My dad has just steered me in the wrong direction twice now, so that's why. But I appreciate you guys, and yeah, I'm gonna do some more research, some of my own research, and figure it out.
Tell your dad to come on the show. We'll yell
Thanks
at him.
for your time, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we got
anytime. Take care.
Thanks, Scott. Talk later.
No problem.
All right, maybe one more.
All right, Sean. Oh, bro, right when Sean was about to join, this guy was waiting for like 10 minutes.
When is Matt Money gonna come on? He was
We
talking
got to
shit
get
about
Matt Money to
himself.
come on.
He was talking shit about himself, and I didn't like that. I really didn't like that, Matt, when you were saying, being still self-effacing. I didn't like that.
What did he say?
He was saying that he wasn't entertaining. He's too much of a realist, and that's why he's not a good YouTube personality. I don't like when people
Matt's
do
awesome.
that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And realism is entertaining. So
okay, I'm gonna give like 2 minutes. We'll see if Sean comes back on because he was waiting for a good 10 minutes. So he probably just.
Are you calling him? Are we now a prank channel?
What?
Are you calling him? You're calling him to come on the show?
No, what are you talking about? No, there's a guy in the back that was named
Oh,
Sean.
He
just left 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, he said Sean. Sean just said, "Fuck, I just got home. Want me to try to join again?"
Look at the
comments. Join again, Sean. Join again, Sean.
Look at the comment. I'm late, but the TikTok girl in the Pikachu outfit does porn. If you're looking to do some DD,
this is DD, and the DD is not due diligence.
Yeah, Sean, join again. Join again. We're gonna get you on.
Dude, there's so many. The question that I have is, there's so many people making money on OnlyFans. Like, dude, my Twitter is fucking just polluted with girls getting on OnlyFans. Like, it could be like a valid
because you're looking at that stuff. You just revealed.
I'm not. It could be like a Bloomberg article, and then you have like girls commenting like CPI is kind of high. Why don't you join my OnlyFans?
No, that's true.
That's
That's true. It's really they do it a lot. They do it a lot.
And it's getting to the point where I'm like, what the fuck, man? It feels like everyone.
You guys outed yourself, Mitt. You're on that chat your bait thing 10 times a day.
Bro, I don't
live streaming.
Tristan showed me what it was, and I was like, "Oh, people do this live." I honestly have never.
Blame it on Tristan. Blame it on Tristan.
You know, I found out because I was on his computer and I was typing in C, and then that popped. I was like, "What's Chatterbait?" And then I clicked it. And you're like, "Oh yeah, it's
right under the bus, Tristan."
Yeah, it's
right under the bus.
It is what it is. I don't use it though. I don't find it interesting. But I was like, "There's like a million people live, just like, doing stuff," and I'm like, "Damn it, that's a business. That's a huge business. It's insane." I'm gonna pull up their traffic numbers right now, real quick.
Like why wasn't OnlyFans, or why wasn't that done by like Tinder?
Well, OnlyFans is not they're not a sex company. They happen to become that, but they brand themselves to the world as like a Patreon. They just happen to be the brand, but that's not what they want.
So basically, what you're saying is we should have an OnlyFans.
We could, we don't have to, but the brand is
in the chat. Would anyone pay anything for an OnlyFans of us?
What's up, Sean?
Fine or no?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're good.
But these AirPods sometimes. Yeah, sorry, I'm on my phone. I'm not like in the best place.
That's all good, man.
But at least you have it horizontal.
Where are you calling from, and how long have you been watching the pod?
You're muted, bro.
You're muted, Sean. Put the AirPod back in. You took the right one out of your ear, or just take both of them out. Yeah. There you go. There you go. It'll be better. Perfect. Kind of. Okay. So yeah, the question is, where are you calling from, and how long have you been watching the pod?
I'm calling from Florida, and I've been watching. I started watching you, I think, sometime in 2021, and just a bit, and then I stopped for a little bit, and I joined again. Once the, I guess, starting this new year, I joined back, started watching.
Counter went back up.
A little bit before that, but yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool. What's up? What's your question?
So I was listening earlier today, and you were talking about what is it called? Shopify. You said that they added that new thing. What was it that they added again?
Sidekick. That's what it's called.
Sidekick. Okay. And I was just wondering, how come you guys don't talk about that too much? I don't know. It seems like something that would be up y'all's alley.
Like Shopify in general.
Yeah, Shopify in general. Just, I know it's run up a lot since the lows of 25-ish, but just curious on like why you guys haven't really brought it up as much as you guys have been bringing up. I should say Meta, Amazon, stuff like that.
Carlos, why don't you buy Shopify?
It's not something I'm interested, to be honest with. Like I try to live my investment philosophy. I try to invest in the things that I know. I only have so much brain space. I only have so much money, and I won't have as much conviction or confidence investing in that. That would be me buying the stock price, not the company, right? I'm not involved in e-commerce, and so I don't typically use a lot of e-commerce to make purchases. So it's not something that I'm super educated on, as much as I am with things more in the tech space. And so that's why personally for me, it's just not an area of interest. But I can respect it, and I like to know what's happening in those markets with respect to how it affects things I am interested in. But me personally, it's not something that I'm interested in.
All right. Yeah, no, that's very fair. It's just, I don't know, just the more you guys talk about like the PayPal and stuff like that, like I feel like it's adding in a little bit of every little one of the big tech's main things, and it's kind of like adding it all on one platform. So like for PayPal, for
yeah, it's an element. You're right. It is an element of it, but it's the payment aspect is not necessarily all of what Shopify does. It's more like an online community. It's a little different than what PayPal is, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying like it's like little things that they add to like kind of make like easier for new businesses to kind of like create new, I should say, apps.
It's a phenomenal network, phenomenal ecosystem. Toby Luke is a phenomenal founder. I don't know if the valuation is necessarily fair. They do $2 billion in revenue.
What is it now?
It's gone up quite a bit since the lows.
Yeah,
it's I think it's $63 right now, but the market cap I'm not sure.
Chris, any thoughts on Shopify? Why you don't have it?
I just
$84 billion, guys.
I don't
wait, hold on. They lost $2 billion last year.
They made money during the Corona, and then they lost afterwards because they're still kind of trying to grow quite a bit.
And the market cap is what, 60 billion? What's the market cap on this?
84, he said.
84 billion?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. The market cap is this is correct. 84 billion, and they've lost $2 billion.
Yep.
They're high growth company, man.
Yeah,
what is high growth?
It depends on
what
they lost the money on.
But bro, 84 billion as a market cap, and they're losing 2 billion. What they're growing at? What, maybe 35% year over year?
Look, first of all, they're
2.5 billion in debt. I don't know.
Hold on. Before we go like super into that, let's just look at their cash flows real quick and see where things go. And cash position, they got about 2 billion on the books, not too much debt. They're free cash flow positive. They went from a swing of 250 to 86 million in the last quarter.
They lose 32 cents on every dollar. Basically, that's
and like I said, look, this is 85. This is an $85 billion company. That's another thing. That's pretty high.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely gone up quite a bit. Let's say I wouldn't be buying it at these.
I don't know. I have to do more research on it. I'm sorry. Like
No, you're fine.
It's definitely one of the companies that keeps popping up on my radar. It's just that I see better opportunities in companies like Amazon. So I'm always like focusing more on that. I do know that there's a ton of people who are creators that use Shopify exclusively to, basically sell merch. They have their own stores, and they like Shopify more than they like Amazon. So it could be one day that Shopify,
with, I think, the consumers and stuff like that.
Me personally, on another level, I had this conversation with a buddy of mine today. He called me, and he's just a guy that I talked to, and he invests in different industries than I do. And I kind of articulated something to him. He was talking about Airbnb. He's got a bunch of money in Airbnb. And I was saying to him, maybe you should be careful with that. I get concerned investing in companies that don't actually have like tangible assets, right? Like all of Shopify's value is digital. And it could be copied, or it could be copied, and they could be gone tomorrow. If you just look at like what happened, the turnover of social medias, which you would think would be really hard to, once you have the user base and the people used to it, we saw a bunch of them go away before Facebook became the one. And I go back to that. Like somebody can come up with something new. I don't think anyone's beating Shopify. People will migrate. Maybe they're not competing with it just yet, but it's still Shopify in and of itself is a middleman between customers and their product. That's what
I disagree with that, Carlos. It is the best way to sell anything on the internet. The problem is I don't like how much do you need 50 million stores in the next 10 years to justify the valuation? Like how many people, because it's not easy to start an e-commerce store. It's fucking hard. Like you got to put in a lot of work, and they do a great job trying to help entrepreneurs, but it's not easy. It's not like starting a TikTok where you can just start dancing like an animal, right? Like it's a difficult thing to make a profitable store for them to get money off of your sales.
But my point is that there's still, you're right in everything you're saying. There's still just a middleman between something that is already happening.
Well, I would disagree with that. I don't think there's any competition to Shopify.
Huh?
There's not any, like Wix is not competition for Shopify.
I'm not saying, okay. All I'm saying is that their business model is that they are in the middle of a customer and
I would disagree. I don't think that's a middleman. I think they're a platform for you to sell something. That's not a middleman.
Sure. But what I'm saying is That's literally all that they do. That's all that they offer. They don't have inventory. Like I can't liquidate the company. I don't. It's not like Enphase where they have a bunch of inverters that are worth something.
You're saying they don't
with
sell shit like
technology.
Amazon. They don't have Amazon.
Yeah,
data.
it's not. There's not tangible products, and
but that's also Carlos a strength, because at that point they don't have to buy any inventory. They don't have to store any inventory. They don't have to do all that.
And also, Amazon doesn't make money off any of that shit. By the way,
hold
they don't
on.
make money off selling shit.
You can argue that. But then you have companies like Uber that still are not profitable. You have companies like Shopify that's losing money. All those arguments of, well, they don't have the inventory. Well, why is it that all the companies that actually have hard products like a Tesla that can sit there and actually have value, intrinsic value, it has value today, tomorrow, and I can track it.
But Tesla has a good margin.
Value
Shopify selling water bottles is not going to give them any margin. So I don't know why they need.
But my thing is, this is what I think becomes inherently difficult about valuing what is the fair value of these companies, because it's all digital. Whereas a Tesla is a product, an inverter is a product, right? There's something they're selling, and it has a product that's made up of raw materials, and I can somehow calculate that. And if markets want certainty, right? There is some certainty in having a tangible product. Uber, how do you value what Uber is? Because
you look at the revenues, you look at the profit.
Yeah, you look at the cash flow.
That's not that hard.
You're not making any money, and so
they got to get profitable.
In general, that's just for me. That's something that I, in general, have issues with. You know.
Just quick question, Carlos. Would you say their subscription and stuff like that be like a tangible thing they could sell? I mean, I know it's not tangible, but
no, because tangible means it has to exist. It has to be something that has intrinsic value outside of. In the real world, like I can look at it, I can put it on a shelf somewhere.
I have no idea why that matters. It's a tech company, Carlos. They have software. Their tangible value is the fucking software.
And the network effects.
Hold on.
And
the
network
effects. Apple, yes, but
why
Apple,
do you need anything physical to value Shopify?
The largest company in the world is a tech company, and it's Apple, and they have products. This computer is worth something.
But what about Microsoft? Where's Microsoft's products? They sell cloud computing.
Google.
I don't.
Meta, Facebook.
No, I hear what you guys are saying, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that all tech companies don't have that value. I'm just saying when you're a company like Shopify that's dependent on that, basically the value is brought on by the people using the service, right? And the value of your company is the network that you can connect people to. That can go away.
No, it can't, because you have to present a reason for why anyone would challenge. It theoretically can. We could stop using Google tomorrow, but we're not. There is no competitor to Shopify. I've used Shopify for years. There's no competitor. Wix sucks. Squarespace sucks. Amazon takes $1 trillion fees.
Squarespace, you mean more like Etsy?
Etsy's actually good, but they don't have the same type of analytics.
But what I'm saying is, I'm just saying that this is again just for me. What they're doing is sticking themselves in the middle. They're bartering. They're connecting people with people. They're like an agent, right? And I had an agent for a while, and I was giving them a cut of my money, right? But for me, it's difficult to truly value what a company is if there's not some sort of technical product.
Yeah, I mean the only difference.
Who's trying to spread me right now?
The only difference is there's no you can't leave Shopify once you get on it. Like you can get another real estate agent when you have a bit like Kylie Jenner. She's not leaving Shopify to sell her makeup ever, and that's like
I'll tell you right now, if there was another company that offered something that Shopify wasn't offering, she would go there. Because here's the thing, specifically with Shopify, like the amount of users that they have on the platform doesn't matter. Whereas like a social media, the network, the user base is super important. It doesn't matter. You are bringing your own user base to whatever it is. Like Mr. Beast, in his latest video, I promoted it on Twitter. He changed his store, right, to whatever it was, MrBeast.store. Did you see? Like he got
but they're using Shopify on the back end.
Yeah, they're using Shopify. What I'm saying is, had he have used a different platform, the fact that he wasn't on Shopify would not, or wasn't.
No, it dramatically would affect the performance of the conversions of the cart to the sales to the purchases, because Shopify has the best version of that product. That's why I don't get your argument by saying there's not a moat in terms of it's just the middleman. It is a phenomenal piece of software that's losing a lot of money.
It seems like Aaron at 827 sees my point. What I'm saying is, it can.
But Rango doesn't.
Listen, it's fine. It's fine. It's the same reason why Airbnb and VRBO can exist. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
no, I don't get what you're. No, I think you're wrong on this.
It's the same business model. It's the same business model. Yes, they have it. What's it?
How do you value Bitcoin then? There's nothing physical. Why is Bitcoin so valuable?
Oh, but Bitcoin's a whole separate conversation.
No, but you literally said you need a physical, tangible asset. How is Bitcoin at all valuable at that point?
Well, the Bitcoin is a store of value. It's not a stock. This is what I'm saying.
But
You
it's
think
not
that-
physical. But it's
but
not a
you
physical.
think
It's a digital gold. How do you value that if you said you need
its
physical?
value is that it's not a physical thing, because most of the stores of value are
It's made for
physical things.
Shopify.
No, you're not understanding what I'm saying. If we're gonna have this conversation, like really, because I feel like, look, Bitcoin's value is that it's not a physical thing. Whereas right now,
Shopify
if I want,
value is it's not
let
a
me
brick
finish
and
your
mortar
point.
store.
Let
It's
me
not
finish
a
my
brick and
point.
mortar
But
store.
let
That's
me
the value of
let me
Shopify.
finish what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
If I want to translate, if I want to take $1 billion in gold from one country to another, it's very difficult to move that amount of gold from one place to another. Whereas Bitcoin, that transaction is instant because it's digital. That's the value of it. It also does not. It's also not a tangible thing that can be printed. You can't print more Bitcoin. These are things that make Bitcoin valuable when you consider when you compare it to other stores of value or the fiat currency that's used to buy it. Fundamentally different. We're talking
Okay,
about
so
a
the,
currency.
so the more people that use Bitcoin, the more valuable it becomes.
Yes.
The more people that use Shopify, which means they have to pay the $29 a month plus 2.9% off every sale, the more valuable Shopify becomes.
The more valuable Shopify becomes, but it doesn't benefit any one of the individual stores. So
Why
the
not?
more money Shopify makes from the more, like Shopify, the experience would be the same for, say, Mr. Beast if Shopify had only him as a
Nope,
client,
that's
or
incorrect.
anyone else as a client.
The R&D that Shopify gets off of having 100 million subscribers come to Mr. Beast's store to know how to handle
But
that
the
traffic so they can make the
it
next
would not- it
store
doesn't-
good.
Mr. Beast's store doesn't do better or worse if Shopify signs up or loses customers on a monthly basis, is what I'm saying. Whereas
Yes,
a
it
social
does.
media, no, he doesn't. But a social media network improves the more people are on the network. That's the difference. A social media network improves when you have more people involved in the conversation.
Okay, let me give you Shopify's network effect. Shopify has, let's say, 50 million stores. The more stores they have, the more data they get on how to optimize those stores to be in the future. So if they figure out Kylie Jenner is converting women off of some makeup thing because of some feature they added that's specific to women, and they know, oh, this demographic likes this thing because we tested it on Kylie Jenner's site, and they add that to other sites, which is not unreasonable to imagine they do a ton of experiments. Hold on. That fuels the network effect. On top of that, Carlos, you're forgetting Shopify has had a 14-day trial referral fee for the past 10 years. I know this because I used to sell on Shopify. The amount of sellers that refer other sellers to the network and they get 14 days free, and then you as a seller get compensated because you
but
refer
what
to
you're
them
doing is
massive.
you're conflating a bull case for Shopify, the company, to the benefit to the person. They're different things, Amit. We're not
I'm
debating.
literally
the same
talking about
thing.
the network getting bigger and more profitable because of.
We're not debating Shopify as a company here. I'm just saying, if I have my store and I have my customers, it's up to me to reach those customers and get out to them. The experience for me as a shop owner does not change if they suddenly sign up 100 more people. Yes, if they use the data to provide a new service, then yes, it will benefit me, but it's not inherent. Shopify has to do something. Where I'm saying a social media network inherently improves once people come on the network. So it's not the same. It's added value versus inherent value. That's all I'm saying.
It is indirectly the same if it's not exactly the same. But the network effect is there.
It's not exactly the same.
So you don't think there's a network effect on Shopify?
I'm not saying that there isn't a network effect, but that's not what I'm arguing. What I'm arguing is that look, as big as something is, if it's software, it can be copied, and that for me is just not something that I am interested in investing in. This is what I was saying to Sean at the.
That's fine. I don't care if you're interested or not interested. I'm just saying no one's copying the moat of a company for 20 years that has millions and millions of sellers overnight, or even challenging them for that outside of Amazon because they already have other distribution networks. Like, I don't see how someone copies Shopify, which is what the moat is. The software is the moat. It is a phenomenal product that can't be replicated, in my opinion.
The software is a moat. The software is a moat, but what you really want is you want something that is more like a social media, where it's the user base that you need. Like if someone,
why do you need this? I don't.
Here's why. Because that's harder. That's harder to.
I have a tweet that I want to just show real quick that pretty much solves this whole debate.
Oh my god!
Yum! Ice cream, brain freeze.
Brain freeze.
No spicy.
This is how I feel right now.
Meta just copied Twitter's moat, but talk to me in 6 months and let's see how many people are still signing up.
Why can't the Bitcoin protocol be replicated then?
It could be, but you're gonna need the people to jump.
You're gonna need the users, right? That's the point.
Yeah,
so Shopify has paying customers that would need to switch to Wix or whatever. Like that's why.
If somebody came out with the exact same product that undercut them on price, you don't think people would move? If it was the same end experience, hold on, same end experience.
Pay a premium for quality service.
Hold on. same end experience, same end experience, same.
Thanks a lot,
domain
Sean.
name.
You see what you did?
Nobody would know.
I didn't mean to do
Great,
this.
Sean.
but
This
I'm
is
doing
awesome.
it.
This is great.
I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
no,
Because honestly,
WhatsApp
what you're
chat is
saying
gonna
is
be nothing but
you're
fucking
not-
Shopify.
You're
man.
not
God
making
damn
you're
it.
you're making a case for the company. I'm not saying that.
No.
that
I'm
this
making a
company's
case for the
business model
network.
is
I'm
not
not
working.
making a case for the company.
No.
I'm saying the network Shopify is great, just like
Okay.
PayPal. PayPal can be replicated with Zelle and Cash. They have a network. I use PayPal every day because it's integrated. Shopify is integrated everywhere. That's why like Klarna can't beat them and all these other like.
And all I'm
Shopify is
saying,
everywhere.
all I'm saying is it's very difficult to value a company that does not have tangible products. That's how
There
I
is
see it.
nothing hard about valuing a company that does not have tangible products because the biggest companies in the
harder.
world are tech companies. That is a
it's
incorrect
hard.
argument.
Hold on,
and I
Amit
will
hold on.
knows.
wrong.
Amit
Apple-
knows because Palantir doesn't have any.
Yeah,
tangible
Palantir has
assets.
No, they have
question about
SkyKit. They have SkyKit.
But
No,
Apple.
Carlos, that's an insane take. You can't value a company that doesn't have tangible. Apple,
How do I liquidate?
the
How
App
do I?
Store.
If Shopify goes bankrupt tomorrow, how do I liquidate them? What do I sell?
The value of the
No, but
network.
I'm asking,
So if
like-
Amazon wants to buy them, they would look at the revenues, the profits, the free cash flows of the paying customers.
It's still going to be an assessment. It's still going to be you have to understand. It's still going to be someone assessing that value. It doesn't have intrinsic value. This is all I'm
All
saying.
I know
How is
is
that
It's
not
not
intrinsic?
controversial.
If
How is that not
Carlos's
Jesus
if Carlos's theory is correct, I need my money back from Audia right now.
Then all
Because
yeah,
there's
that is
nothing
like, is my
else.
startup
You
having,
know what it is?
if my startup has 1 million users, is there no valuable because they're not physical things to my
No,
startup?
you know what it is. It's like I don't think he's honing in on what my exact point is. He's arguing something I'm not defending. And so that's
Carlos,
why we
I'm
should
trying
move
to
on.
literally
Let's
get
just
to
move
the
on.
crux
Let's
of
just
your
move on.
argument. You said
Let's
it's
just move
hard
on.
to value a company with no tangible products. And then I look at Microsoft that has, they sell laptops, but the majority of their shit, Google, let's use Google. There's nothing tangible about that.
They're
They sell
selling
fucking
ads.
ads.
No, but they're selling
Those
ads.
ads
yeah.
are worth $200-something billion a year.
Okay.
So if Google was sold tomorrow, Amazon, if they were buying them, would be like, oh, you have these many ad networks, you have these many YouTube ads, well,
What I'm
buying
okay,
the network from you.
Man, you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm saying if I have to liquidate a company, if I have to liquidate it, and I have to pay back the people that I owe money to, what do you liquidate if you have no assets? It's data on a server. How do I liquidate that? Who do I sell that to? I'm saying it's much
you
easier.
sell the traffic. So Google gets 88 billion
I'm
visits a
saying
month. You are
it's
selling the
easier-
website and the website traffic, which is very
Okay.
tangible because it converts to ads.
Okay.
How is that not tangible? That's traffic.
Okay, I think we should move on. I think we should move on because
But if that's the case, Bitcoin is also completely worthless then because there's nothing tangible.
No,
there.
but again, you don't understand Bitcoin. You don't understand crypto in general. So you
how do
can't
I
argue.
how do I
You can't
liquidate
make an
Bitcoin?
argument
How do I
about crypto if
liquidate
you don't
Bitcoin?
understand it. You don't even understand it. And first of all, it's a currency. It is not a stock. This is a fundamental. You not understanding.
So
it.
how do I liquidate Bitcoin? That's my question.
You liquidate your Bitcoin by selling it. What are you talking about?
There's nothing tangible or physical
Oh
about
my
the
God.
sell.
But again, you're talking about a currency. How do I liquidate the US dollar? Is how silly that question sounds, dude. How do
But
you
the
liquidate?
US dollar has value.
How do I
Just
liquidate?
Like Bitcoin has value. They both have
This is-
value.
But they're not.
That's my point.
companies.
Shopify also has
Bitcoin
value.
is not a company. It doesn't have earnings. There's no CEO. There's no PE. There's no price to sale. There's no price to book. What are you talking about? It's like you're comparing them. It's like saying, you're comparing a tech company to real estate. It's like real estate is a tangible asset. There's a house there. If I want to liquidate that, I have an intrinsic value of the wood and the nails and the paint on the wall, right? And I can value that based on the location. There's a tangible asset there. That's all I'm saying. It's easier to value something when it's a tangible asset than something that is digital. And that is just something that in general, I stay away from. Because look at something like Uber. You would think that Uber would be printing freaking money and they're losing money. Why? If it's so easy.
Uber hasn't been managed that well, but I don't think that there's not a moat to their.
They're all losing money. They're all losing money. And all they're doing is sticking themselves in the middle. All they're doing is basically connecting people. They're like the bulletin board on your school, right? Connecting people looking for jobs with the people that have jobs. And they're not making any money. This is ridiculous.
All right.
Sean, I hope that answers your question.
And very fair. I was just curious. I'm like,
Chris,
why you guys
we
talk
Chris,
about it.
this
I
is
see why now.
ridiculous. This is ridiculous in the back.
All right.
All right, John, thanks for being on, man.
Thanks, guys.
Sean just came. He ignited this discussion, which is great. That's why it's good to have fans come on.
That was funny. That was
was
funny.
Chris, how's your wife going to feel
No,
about
anyone,
you
listen, I'll tell you right now, anyone saying that I lost this point is not understanding my point. You tell me how it's easier to value something that doesn't exist versus something that does exist. That is the argument that I'm making. And in general, if I can invest in companies that have hard assets, like say Enphase has physical products, they have, and that has value. That has value, right? And you can see what goes into this product, and you know exactly how they can further make those products more efficiently and maybe smaller, using less materials. These for me are ways that I can value that company easier than something like the network effect you're saying of Shopify.
I've had a change of heart. I got more value from the fucking bunny girl than I did listening to you ramble. You guys ramble on with your hard assets versus
It was
soft
a good
assets.
debate.
That makes you want to fap with our hard and soft assets. We were like, whoa, guys.
TikTok won tonight, fellas. That is correct.
All right, good times.
Did he even have a question? I'm sorry. Did he even have a question there? Yo,
Would you invest in Shopify? That was his question.
Yeah, and my argument was they're not a real company because they have no tangible assets. So we both came to the same conclusion.
Are you invested in Shopify?
No, I just saw but someone in the chat said they made $3 billion in 2022. So they did have $3 billion of net income.
Yeah, but that was at the height of COVID.
COVID, correct.
But if that's the case, but if that's the case, and they're using that money to improve the service, like say Zoom, right? They're deploying that capital. That's what you would want as an investor. I don't see what the problem is. I don't get this thing that people think every company has to be super profitable every single quarter. They can never spend money, or they can never be down.
No, it doesn't have to be. But then if the market cap's 85 billion, that's where I'm like,
all right,
but maybe I'm wrong on the I don't know all the numbers.
But if their revenue and the multiple justifies it, it's like, look at your own freaking life. Are you always making more money every single month, all the time?
Of course, because Chris gives me my stock picks and I fucking follow
hey.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even saying in the markets. Like, I'm just saying in general. I mean, maybe some of you guys that have that have like regular jobs, but like if you're a freelancer, your money and your income goes up and down. Sometimes.
No, I know. I've been a freelancer my whole life.
All right, so it's the same way, but for some reason we expect these gigantic companies to be exempt from the same forces that we are when we work for these companies. I don't know.
Never mind. It wasn't net income. It was revenue. Fuck Shopify. They didn't make any fucking profits. Fuck these guys. Unless Matt is wrong about that.
All right. Anybody else want to fight? Come on.
Yo,
Carlos, do you think you actually won the debate?
Yes, because you weren't even debating what I was talking about. So
okay, all right.
You weren't even debating what I was talking about. I can listen. Okay, here's how you know that I won the debate. Because I agree with what you're saying, that Shopify's network effect has value, that Shopify's products serve the needs of those customers better than, say, anybody else, because if they didn't, people wouldn't be using the service. If Mr. Beast is using it, it's clear that they are giving him the best deal in town. All I'm saying is that if you could get that exact same thing from somebody else at a cheaper price, everyone would migrate over to that, because you don't need to have the benefit of all the other people using Shopify. You only care about what it does for you. Unlike a social media.
Oh, you're right. There's not a wrong point there. It just comes down to how valuable the
literally
service
my
is.
only point.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you guys want me to send you Pikachu Girls OnlyFans, let me know later.
Gotcha. Bro, if I don't see that in my WhatsApp when I'm out of here, I'm gonna be pissed. There better be 3 links in that fucking WhatsApp.
That is just a joke, wife. Do not kill me, okay? She's watching. Do not kill me, wife.
You think we want to short me? You better short Chris. She's coming in now. She's coming in now to liquidate Chris. She's like, how do I liquidate my
This was a great last episode for Chris. That was about it. It's been nice knowing you guys.
Chris is quitting. You know? He's gonna be a TikTok influencer for the rest of his life. And
I mean, it'd be better than this.
Wouldn't that be a crazy turn of events? Chris just gets out
of Could you imagine Chris just like talking about like stocks,
Nvidia?
I'm sure there's a short, pudgy Indian guy fetish market out there, that also talks about stocks. You never know what weird stuff is out there.
All right, I'm about to go run 6 miles. I'm going to get my run in for the day.
All right, thank you guys so much. I'll see you later,
guys.
Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
I'm gonna go sleep on the couch while the wife watches. See ya. Take care.